Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back in to another edition of Astros Recap. David Artis back here again. Another week in the books for the Astros. It is Sunday night, 10:32 p.m., May 15th, 2022, of course. But the Astros, good week, 6 games, 5-1. Actually brought their winning streak all the way up to 11 games, winning on Tuesday. Sort of suspended game on Wednesday, finishing up that game Thursday. It's kind of a weird week with that sort of Wednesday rain-out, washout after playing 4 innings or whatever it was. We'll jump into it here in a few minutes. But, yeah, winning their first 4 games after their 7-game winning streak. We talked last week, of course. So, yeah, bringing that winning streak up to 11 games really brought their record up. They're now they're tied with the Angels, I think, for the division lead. We're percentage points ahead, I believe. We'll also look at that here in a minute. But I can't complain. Obviously, the Astros, losing on Saturday, snapped that 11-game winning streak, their franchise record. They were one short of tying that, which was 12 games. But the Astros overall still in good shape, 23-12. Like I said, tied with the Angels, first in the AL West. You look up and, they're one of the 4 or 5 best teams all in baseball if you just look at records. So it's funny because it just feels like when you win 11 games, that definitely makes a difference. But I just think back to, April and just sort of, it just seemed like a struggle. But the goal in April, and we've said this numerous times, just stay at 500, get things together, find your rhythm, get into your groove, and then try to reel off wins. The only 2 injuries the Astros have dealt with this year was Altuve and Ryan Presley. Presley obviously was early, like first, second week of the season, and Altuve got hurt, obviously home opener. That was like 10, 11 games in. They're both back. Altuve's looked a lot better, something we haven't really touched on. He got off to a horrendous start at the plate, but he's turned things around, hitting some home runs, just getting on base, and definitely raised his average. Haven't seen a whole lot of Presley since his return. I think he did pitch yesterday, or not yesterday, but on Friday to get some work in. But, he's still going to be an important part in the back end of the bullpen. But the Astros offense, somebody had, sort of just slowly gone away. I feel like averages have gone up. The offense has been better. Not like amazing, like they're putting up 8-9 runs a game. They did have a few offensive outbursts here we'll talk about. They scored 8 runs today. Even yesterday in a loss, they still put up 6 runs. So, but the offense obviously has come around. So, a lot of good there. But I can sort of make my assumption. I always talk about first impressions early in the year, but now we're starting to get into the I know what to expect out of a lot of our players as the season goes on here. And again, these podcasts, shorter, sweeter, talking points. That's what we sort of try to dwell on. But, yeah, you went into Minnesota. Minnesota 18-11 at the start of the series. So they were tied with us, and we went in and just whooped up on them pretty good. We shut them out Tuesday 5-0. Wednesday, so we were off to a 5-1 lead when the rain came and sort of ended it. But they kept that score and picked that up on Thursday at 12. They ended up winning that 11-3 and then winning the second game 5-0. So really the big story during the win streak here was their pitching. Incredible. When I look back at the 3, at back-to-back shutouts against Seattle, then you allowed 2 in a win. You allowed 2 runs on Wednesday, but they won that 7-2. Then they had the 3 straight, allowing 2 runs, the 3-2 victories against Detroit, and then shutting them out on Sunday. You had 4 shutouts, and 11 of these games. In the other games, you had 4 games where you allowed 2 runs, You had a game where you allowed 3 runs. Let me look at this real quick here. Hold on, I said that wrong. You had 5 shutouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shutouts. And the games you had 3. So you had 5 shutouts. Sorry, but this is... So you had 5 shutouts. You had 4 games where you allowed 2 runs. 5, 4, 10. Okay. So yeah. Say this again. 5 shutouts, 4 games where you allowed 2 runs, 1 game where you allowed 1 run, and then 1 game where you allowed 3 runs. That's pretty remarkable, pitching-wise. A good two times through the rotations there. Our starters were phenomenal. And our hitters were doing just enough, not counting the 11-3 game. And on Friday they won 6-1 in Washington. So other than those games, I guess they scored 5 runs second half of Thursday, second game there. The originally scheduled game out there on Thursday. So I was just looking through things here. So yeah, pitching was phenomenal. Now Saturday they lost, only loss here. This is the first time I'll say it this year. Our big issue was the pitching. That was actually originally so. You're going back to a 5-man rotation. Or are they? Actually, now that I think about things, they used Christian Javier out of the bullpen last Sunday, and that to me meant, okay, they're taking him out of the rotation, back in the bullpen. He actually pitched, started yesterday, was not good. This was Javier's first bad start, first bad outing I can think in a while, so I'm not going to kill him for it, but he was not good, just that simple. Javier's line was 3 2/3, couldn't get out of the 4th inning, but 7 earned runs, walked 3, struck out 5. Phil Maton wasn't much better. He gave up 2 earned runs in his inning in the 3rd. Blake Taylor, who's just a complete, utter disappointment watching him pitch, it's just bad. ERA jumped. ERA's at 3.86. He got 4 earned runs. I kept feeling like as this game was going, I felt like the offense, if the pitchers could just sort of keep things where they were, I felt like the offense had a chance to come back, but the pitching really didn't help. I mean, Blake Taylor and Hector Neris came in the 8th or 7th and 8th and had scoreless, outings. But at that point, you'd already given up 13 runs. They gave up more runs in this one game than they did the prior 11 games, which they won them all. But 13 runs. I was doing the math earlier today. I think they gave up 12 in the 11 prior games, which was that winning streak. They scored 6 runs. I mean, Jose Siri had a good game, but just could never really stop the Nationals from scoring. The Nationals are not a very good team. Anything short of 2 of 3 in the series was going to be a disappointment. So bouncing back today was good. They really just, after 4 scoreless innings, it was 0-0. Verlander was pitching well. Verlander obviously only went 5 innings today. Pitch count really rose up out of nowhere. I was talking about the weekend games. I'm at work, so sort of, trying to keep an eye on the TV at all times is hard, but it looked like he was rolling around. Now, he did walk a few guys, so they should pull up the line for Verlander today. He does get the win, went 5 innings. But, yeah, that pitch count, I mean, he threw 107 pitches. That's a lot for Verlander. Think about the Tommy John, just try to keep things. But, went 5, 2 hits, the 3 walks was surprising, struck out 5, lowered the ERA to 1.38 and gets the win, so he's now 5-1 on the year. His 1 loss was the 3rd game of the year where he allowed only 1 run, and the Astros lost that game 1-0. So, sort of at this point today, they were up only 2-0. Martin Maldonado miraculously hit a 2-run home run. But figuring out how you're going to fill the next 4 innings. But Montero got the 6th, shutout. Did allow a hit, but nothing else. Stanek got the 7th. Walked a guy, but nothing else for him. And then Abreu, who I gotta give him some credit here. I went 2 innings, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Brayu's pitched well. I don't want to jinx this. I've been trying to be not saying a whole lot on Abreu, but I have to give him credit. His last 5, 6 outings, he's been pretty solid. Not perfect. He can still struggle, I feel like, when it comes to locating. But one thing I've said is he's got that slider. If he can locate that slider, hit some corners, and do the same with the fastball, he's definitely. I hate saying this, but we talk about the stuff he's got. So, but also making things a lot easier as the Astros continue to rack up. They continue to get the runs. So, after two in the fifth, 1 in the 6th, when they put up the 4 spot in the 7th to make it 7-0, that really made things easier for me. If it was 2-0, I would have been it was interesting to see how Dusty Baker was going to use the bullpen with the last 4, getting 12 outs there. He's been really reluctant to use the same guy on back-to-back days still, which I think needs to change, but it's not affecting us, at least to this point. Blake Taylor right now is the one guy I can't stand to watch pitch in this bullpen. He's the only lefty, but I really can't stand to watch Blake Taylor. It doesn't matter, lefties, righties. He doesn't get guys out. He allows runs. He's not good. Disregard the 3.86 ERA. He's allowed a lot of inherited runners to come in. So he's not good there. And, he's we talk about he had the fluky 2020 year, and then last year wasn't very good, and this year it's just more of the same. At least Abreu's improved to this point. Still trying to be, I'm not going to completely give Abreu credit quite yet, but he's getting there. So, yeah. It's always important when you have a long winning streak to sort of bounce back after you finally do lose, which is inevitable. So winning today's good. The Astros now full 7-game week, no days off next week, play Boston for 3, and then they'll come home to play Texas for 4. So, yeah, just looking at the schedule there. Their next off day isn't until the 26th, so they're in a stretch of, 15 straight games, something like the 15 straight games. So after that, they'll have a lot of days off. I mean, when they have the 26th is a Thursday that they have off, and if you look at the schedule here, they have the next 3 Thursdays off, so they'll get some rest coming up. But just trying to get through this week, and then they'll have some days off, a lot of Thursdays, 4 Thursdays in a row basically. But trying to think here. When you rack up a long winning streak, that first loss you always take a little harder. But after Saturday's loss, I just was ready to move on to Sunday, and winning today 8-0 was a good win. Offense 6 runs, 8 runs. You'd take that every series. Obviously, Minnesota scoring 5-11, and was it 5 or 6? It's hard to. It's 5, so 5-11, 5. Yeah, you take that every series. Let's just look at the offense because they didn't really do a whole lot against Seattle and Detroit offensively. They go on the road, and they've been doing good. So they'll stay out on the road. Not a long flight. They're probably in Boston by now, but they'll play tomorrow. 3 Boston, 4 Texas. Just trying to think here because one more thing. I meant to look this up actually before I got on tonight. They did make a trade with the Giants, so they traded. I'm curious. I don't know if I can look this up here. See if I go to news here. But they made a trade with the Giants. Nico Goodrum got optioned back to AAA. Saw this in stories today. Maybe I can go to the emails. This might work. I hate doing this. Let's see here. So yeah, they I'm going to click on this, see if I can pull this up here, but they acquired a utility guy. Dubon is his name. Mauricio Dubon in exchange for a catcher, Michael Paperiski. But Dubon he's a utility guy, plays infield, outfield. So, Nico Goodrum, who was sort of your fifth or sixth sort of infielder, had a rough go of it with the Astros. He was terrible. Didn't see a whole lot of him just when we sprinkled days in or days off for people like whether it's Bregman or, Pena, Altuve, Gurriel. He would be sprinkled in a little bit. But Dubon, who's played 4 years in the big leagues with the Giants after he was acquired from the Brewers, 258 average, 301. I don't know how that necessarily goes. 258, 301, 395. Might be on base, might be slugging. 15 home runs, 58 RBIs, 179 games. Played mostly in center field, but has had substantial time at second base and shortstop as well at some at third. So we'll see. And he's activated. He's with the team. So, Altuve and Pena were dealing with some minor injuries, and Pena has been out. Actually, he didn't play at all in the Washington series. Altuve came back, played today, after having he had a scheduled day off on Saturday because he played Friday, but hit home runs both days, Friday and today. So, but Altuve's fine. Pena was dealing with a hamstring, but I think he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. We'll see when he sprinkles in Dubon here. But, Nico Goodrum back in one option to AAA to bring up, Dubon. That's sort of the roster news for you. Injury-wise, still doing good. We'll hope that continues. But, just continue to pick up the wins. Quick standings update before I actually finish up here. Let's see. I know I'm on my phone a lot, but so 23-12. The Angels are 24-13. So we're like 8 percentage points ahead of them, but we're still tied. And then a huge drop off to third place, which is Seattle. They're 7 games back. So really, right now, I thought Seattle would be better. Still early, of course, but LA has done a pretty good job. Still expect them to fall off, but we'll see. I know they're playing with a lot of confidence, and their starting pitching's been good. Obviously, they've stayed healthy to this point, so it's weird that we're almost a month and a half in, haven't played the A's yet, and we don't play the A's until I haven't seen them on the schedule. I guess we don't play the A's for the first time until I guess late May here. We'll play them the 30th through the 1st. But that's kind of crazy. You've played Seattle twice. You're actually going to play Seattle a third series. You played the Angels already twice. You'll play Texas twice before you face Oakland even once. And, Oakland, you'll get them a few series in July. So I'm looking at the schedule here. But, you usually play your divisional opponents 19 times. Just kind of strange they haven't played Oakland yet this year. But, yeah. Anyway, happy with where we're at. Just hope we can do good in Boston again. Series, just trying to win series. If they can win series, I'll take it every time out, basically. So, wrap things up there. Talk to you next Sunday, and we'll get this podcast up, going for you. Obviously, like it, share with your friends, all that good stuff on YouTube. We'll wrap things up there. Coming up on almost 20 minutes, but do all that good stuff. Love to hear your comments below. I'll definitely respond if warranted. All that good stuff there is to do on YouTube. Like it, share it with your friends. And I will talk to you next Sunday night. Let's see the schedule. It's always important. But, it would have to be Sunday because they'll roll right into Cleveland. All right, Wrap things up there. We'll see you next time.